Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Yogena Chittasya Padena Vacha Malam Sharirasya Cha Vaidyakena Yopakarotam Pravaram Munina Patanjalim Pranjaliranatosmi Abahu Purushakara Shankha Chakrasi Dharinam Sahasra Shirasam Shvetam Pranamami Patanjalim Shrimate Anantaya Nagarajaya Namo Namaha. Please stay with your eyes closed and take a few breaths. When you are ready, please open your eyes. Our sessions in the Yoga Sadhana program seem very intense to a lot of people. They seem to feel we speak more about dukkham, or to use an interpretation in English about sorrow, or I also like the word dis-ease. Frequently, a lot of us, most of us, are beset by, we are consumed by our troubles, by issues we face, by things we have to deal with, stress, worry, illness. With so much crowding us, we are unable to focus on anything else. We are unable to think beyond them. We are unable to think of anybody else, the world outside. The starting point of yoga is practice. Practice which calms the mind, which helps it to settle, to quieten. And it does happen. The mind does settle. The body aches and pains do reduce. Sleep and digestion does improve. Impulsive behavior comes down when the practice is a good practice.
all these things happen. At that point, then we are able to start looking at ourselves more deeply. Fundamentally, yoga through asana, pranayama, meditation, it creates conditions that allow us to turn inward, to move from bhoga, the space of looking outside, of pointing a finger at a person or things, of believing that if a person or a situation changes, the problem will disappear. Bhoga, a space where we give away control to an external agency. And in that space, that ocean, we find ourselves in a constant state of dukkham. But just like an ocean, when we settle, when we are at a certain depth, we experience a certain quietude. We are less disturbed. And from that space, we are able to look at people, at situations, at our surroundings a little differently. We are quieter, we are more focused, and then we are able to look at that which is causing us pain and connect and understand with what within me is generating that pain. We are then in a better place to mitigate that sorrow. This possibility, this ability to turn and to go deeper inward has to be developed. Patanjali offers guidance on how we can proceed, how we who have jumpy minds that are unable to stay for long with any degree of quietude, with anything, with something. This mind is called a Vyuttana Chitta. Patanjali starts chapter 2 with Kriya Yoga, the yoga of action, whereby we move from bhoga to yoga every single minute of our life. First, we have to see what within me is causing this pain. Whenever we act, we have expectations that the result must be something that gives me happiness. If not, we get upset. So something in me is attached either to people or to things or to situations. The need to be in a place or in a manner that brings me only pleasure, of being as I want it to be. This sense of I, who I perceive myself to be, is also something we get attached to. And this is called raga. The flip side of raga is I don't want pain, I don't want suffering, I don't want hurt. So I protect myself and I build my walls. The possibility of a person or a situation causing me pain makes me avoid it. This is called dvesha. And my comprehension of who I am, what are my likes, what are my dislikes, this is called asmita. My need to remain this way, the way I am now, the need to preserve how I see myself, my view of myself, to not want to ever be otherwise, this exists as a fear within us called abhinivesha. So these four, raga, dvesha, asmita, and abhinivesha, are called kleshas, that which causes pain or suffering, that which makes our mind impure. Patanjali says Kriya Yoga is a process of how to clean the mind, how to keep the impurities in seed form so that they don't spring strongly to life, powerful, disturbing, causing me to act in a manner that further entangles me in suffering. In all our activities, we water and fertilize several seeds whereby they grow and flourish and bear fruit. What we need to do, we need to feed the seeds that take us in a positive direction and not nurture the seeds which enhance and support raga, dvesha, asmita, and abhinivesha, as well as not be attached to the results. To feed the positive and not encourage the negative requires us to be mindful and to have very focused attention. This is called tapas. In yoga, this is all it is. Mindful actions to purify ourselves at every level. And we do this with fire, the heat of the digestive fire, the mental fire to see with clarity and to act with conviction, the meditative fire, which fuels our journey inward and gives us strength to journey inwards regardless of any impediments. It is the fire that cooks, that burns, and that allows the fruit to mature from seed to plant to tree to fruit. And when it is ripe, the fruit will drop and fall off. So why the fire? Because when the fruit falls, the fire will burn the seed so that it doesn't sprout again. So tapas is about learning what and how to purify using heat of the body and the mind. Krishnamacharya spoke about tapas and he said, pay attention to your food. We have discussed food in a previous session about how we need to eat light, timely, fresh, that which doesn't encourage or engender rajas or tamas within us. Foods that increase the sattva in making your body lighter and your mind clearer. That's so that we can see better, understand better, so that I can act in a way that moves me from bhoga to yoga. And the other aspect he spoke about was communication. Can I speak? Can I communicate? Can I express myself in a way where I do not cause pain or get caught in the dukkham in the world? So I practice ahimsa. I speak in a way that I don't cause pain, but at the same time, I stay with the truth of my reality. So satyam and ahimsa, food and asana, pranayama, these are all forms of tapas. The intent and intention of purifying is what makes all of this tapas. The second aspect of Kriya Yoga is Svadhyaya, to move towards oneself. It requires study and in such a way that we are reminded constantly of the direction we want to be in, constantly to keep moving towards yoga. Ishvara Pranidhana, the higher intelligence, or however we understand it, however we understand Ishvara, whatever we call it, that force, that fuel, that is keeping alive all of us and the cosmos. And Pranidhana, to surrender, to offer all our actions and results of our actions to that force. It is an attitude we need to cultivate, the attitude that the fruits that have formed are because of that higher force that has operated through us, and that we therefore offer the fruit to it. That so much needs to come together to create that fruit. I can't do this on my own. We had homework for this week. Saras asked us to bring focus, to keep our attention on any one activity of our choice, and to bring the intent and attention of Kriya Yoga to it, to look at it as a purifying action with an attitude of an offering. So tapas was attention or mindfulness. Swadhyaya is the ability to be with ourselves, and Ishvara Pranidhana was to not claim, but to offer the fruit or the result of that action. I hope we have all done our homework. And so I invite all of you to take 2 minutes and think of whatever activity you chose to focus on this week. And to share with us on chat what is tapas for you. Please take 2 minutes to think about it. Tapas for me is, please take some time, think about it. It may not be just one thing. Many things may come to you while you reflect on what tapas is. Please feel free to share all of them in the chat box. Lekha shares that tapas for her is consciously choosing to nurture the seed of happiness within her. Richa says tapas is having discipline in her daily routine. Manikivasakam says tapas is for him Vairāgya. Laura says tapas for her is mindful actions every day. Sonia says last week she took tapas as her yoga practice and crochet, which helped her to focus, to develop focus, to try and control her mind. Gauri says tapas is doing her actions focused on her goal. For Arun, tapas is penance. For Shobha, it is purifying the mind with mindfulness and meditation every day. If you have all written, as many of you as wants to share, Selva Kumar says tapas is to purify his mind. Jennifer says it is being quiet and focused enough in herself to intensely attend to what she's doing, whether it is a conversation or an action. For Narayana Reddy, tapas is focusing on one sense. For whoever is on Kapil's iPad, tapas is paying attention to the daily activities. We will now move to the next slide, which is Swadhyaya for me is, please take 2 minutes to think what you've understood and how Swadhyaya has manifested for you through this week when we have studied Kriya Yoga and tried to stay with a practice. And please share in the chat box what Swadhyaya is for you. Lekha says Swadhyaya for her is to chant and study the Yoga Sutra as an everyday practice. For Selva Kumar, Swadhyaya is self-study. For Manikavasakam, it is the inner guidance for tapas. And for Narayana Reddy, Swadhyaya is introspection at the end of each day. For Manish Bajaj, Svadhyaya is reading spiritual books related to heartfulness for his evolution. For Dhanashri, it is not judging herself or others. For Laura, Svadhyaya is to observe herself with no attachment or aversion. Lekha says, Svadhyaya is to journal every day. Please feel free to put into the chat box maybe multiple things which stand for Svadhyaya for you. Arun says Svadhyaya is the same as a constant remembrance of the heartfulness practice. For Sonia, it is to think every day that she needs to control her mind somehow. For Shobha, she says she's been more conscious of her mind, following her asanas, following her breath to connect, and has been journaling after meditation. Richa says currently for her, Svadhyaya is learning Sanskrit, understanding the Aditya Hridayam Stotram, and she also wants to study more scriptures. Kapil's iPad says moving inward to understand myself without judgment. Jennifer says it is to constantly introspect, particularly in the evening, prayer or before sleep, and to keep a meditation diary and to say honestly what she feels in it. For Dhanashri, Svadhyaya is to become an observer. If everybody has shared what they want to, let us move to the last slide, which is Ishvara Pranidhana for me is, again, please take a minute or two to reflect for yourself what is Ishvara Pranidhana for you, and please share in the chat box. Anshika says, understanding of the inner me. Svadhyaya is an understanding of the inner Anshika. Maya says it is to be kind to oneself and to all others. Jennifer says Ishvara Pranidhana is connecting deeply with her inner master and following and handing over to this inner self. Selva Kumar says Ishvara Pranidhana for him is surrendering to the source. Lekha says Ishvara Pranidhana for her is focusing on doing a task well without stressing too much about how it will turn out. There is no doership attitude. Narayana Reddy says. Laura says she surrenders, offering her actions and accepting. Shobha says she offers her daily action to Ishvara from morning to night. Ishwararpitam nitya krutam. Dhanashri says Ishvara Pranidhana is offering good, bad, everything to the higher up. Anchika says, Ishvara Pranidhana is to live in the moment and try to be in harmony. Kapil says, to do daily activities without any expectations. Thank you, Deepa. I'm sorry. All I can see is what is written saying Kapil's iPad. Thank you to everybody for sharing. If you have any more that comes up, please do write to us on the chat. And at this point, I would like to invite Saras to teach us and share with us about Abhyāsa and Vairāgya. Gauri Ramachandran says, Ishvara Pranidhana for her is surrendering everything to God.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Gauri. It was so beautiful to read all the sharing and to see how all of us have brought all of this together in our daily life, in our actions, in the way we think, in the way we shape our mind, our attitudes, and through that process, how we are learning to move in the direction of yoga. So I was given to understand that about 1,245 people registered for this course from around 65 countries. And that's a very impressive number, right? And many names of these countries or cities I'm not even familiar with. But what is really impressive is the people from so many corners of the world who are interested in yoga, who are desiring to understand and go deeper into yoga sadhana, right? Without that intention, you wouldn't sign up. Now we all know, and if you are a heartfulness meditation practitioner, you also know the value of a direct session with a teacher or a preceptor where you are in the presence of the teacher and you're receiving the teachings or you're receiving the transmission. Okay? It's a very live connection. It is a very live process. And of course, we are all separated by time and space. We are sitting in these boxes, but still we can be live. We can be connected in real time, here and now. It may be morning or evening or whatever time for you. And here we are sitting in one corner of the world, Chennai, and connecting, right? So my invitation to all those people who have registered for this course, if you happen to watch this recording, is to at least come in for one live session. We have 4 more sessions going, which is like 8 sessions. Yeah, at least come for one live session because it's very different. It's very different from actually watching a recording. And what I have found is for myself, if I am not able to be there for a live session, I don't really get the time to watch the recording. And I can always postpone. I can always say, I'll do tomorrow, I'll do tomorrow. And then tomorrow something else will come and a lot of work gets piled up. And we are doing so many things, right? We are doing much more than what we were doing before. And now life has gotten more and more complicated with AI and with all these, possibilities of having recordings and jumping onto Zoom anytime during the day and night. So it is really getting complicated. To simplify, The first part of what we're going to talk about today, Abhyāsa and Vairāgya, Abhyāsa is to be there and just to be with something. So a very fundamental aspect of what we're calling Abhyāsa, Abhyāsa. Asa means to be. Abhi is with a certain emphasis, like nothing else is more important than to be here. So that is Abhyāsa. Okay, and we start that with just to be there in the study, just to be there with the practice, just to be there with your breath, just to pay attention to your body, just to really focus on the food that you eat, to be with somebody, to listen with all your attention, to engage with nature with all your senses integrated. All of that is Abhyāsa. And Vairāgya is to say that I would rather be here than anywhere else. And so, therefore, to recognize what might take me away, pull me away, and drop that, let go of that, and come back to where I ought to be. Okay, that is the first, the middle, and the last part of yoga. There is no yoga without Abhyāsa or Vairāgya. Right? So in the first chapter of Yoga Sutra, Patanjali talks about Abhyāsa and Vairāgya. Maybe Lekha, you can put down the words. In the second chapter of Yoga Sutra, Abhyāsa and Vairāgya in the form of starting with Kriya Yoga, okay, that we just looked at, tapas, to act in a way that we purify, and using fire as a medium to purify. We are not using earth or water or air or space, we are using fire. And the quality of fire is such that it can purify. So if you are, let's say the example often given is purifying gold. So when you burn the gold, it removes the impurities, the dross, and then it helps you to have that pure metal, right? When we're talking about food, what cooks the food is the fire. So you need to cook the food so that you can assimilate the nutrients in the food. And that can become your tissue, that can become your body. And the most subtle aspect of the food becomes your mind. All our experiences, we need to cook so that we can assimilate. Very often when we have experiences and we say, I'm not able to stomach it, I'm not able to digest it. It is a real thing that I have an experience and I just don't know what to do with it. Neither can I take it in, nor can I throw it out. And it is sitting inside me like a big rock, right? And then quickly life moves on and we cover it up with a lot of other things. We get preoccupied with many things. But this unresolved, uncooked, unprocessed experience remains in our system. It circulates in our system and creates a lot of blockages for the prana to flow. It blocks the nadis. And this is a real experience. It affects our breathing, it affects our digestion, it affects all the other physiological functions, and of course, it disturbs the mind. So the fundamental problem is that the mind becomes more and more disturbed, dissipated, distracted, less and less focused. So tapas is a form of purifying the mind. And for me to do that, I need Abhyāsa. I need to stay with how to do this and how to do this better and better, and continue to do that action and learn from that action how to refine it more and more. Yeah, so Abhyāsa is required. Svadhyaya. Of course, we have so much of information nowadays. Yeah, in earlier days, if I wanted to understand or study a particular Upanishad, I have to look for a teacher, one who is very well versed in that subject, and maybe I have to go and meet this teacher wherever they live. I should, the teacher should accept me as a student, and then I should start the learning process, and I should be with it. But today, everything you can get it on your fingertip. And because we get everything by a click of the mouse, I don't think we truly understand what the Svadhyaya is about. And it has become more and more about gathering information, knowing something in our head, right? That I can chant all this, I can explain all this, and I can do all this. That's not Swadhyaya. Swadhyaya is simply using the knowledge that we receive to move closer and closer to who truly we are. And in this whole process of practice, of study, of self-reflection, there is a possibility that everything that we are doing is just going to embellish this form of ourselves. And I become more and more focused on who I am in this world and how I should be seen, how I should not be seen, right? It all becomes about me. We become really very, very obsessed about ourselves. So Ishvara Pranidhana. Yeah, so that we understand that there is something higher. There is an intelligence that is driving everything, that is acting through us, and I am simply an instrument. I'm simply a vessel. And my job is simply to clean this vessel continuously. And developing this attitude of surrendering my intentions, my actions, and the fruits of my actions to that intelligence is Ishvara Pranidhana. So in all of this, tapas, svadhyaya, and Ishvara Pranidhana, there is Abhyāsa and there is Vairāgya. Abhyāsa is what will help me get deeper and deeper and make it a life practice, a daily practice, a continuous practice. And Vairāgya is to recognize what takes me away from it and to let go of it. Right? So these two are very fundamental. And as we progress into the second chapter, which is primarily for people with a disturbed or a habitually distracted mind, this is very important that we start with tapasvadhyaya Ishvara Pranidhana, which are three aspects of the niyamas. So we build and cultivate these attitudes of purifying oneself, of staying with self-reflection and understanding who we are, and continue to offer our actions and the fruits of our action to a higher intelligence. We become ready for Ashtanga Yoga. And then we begin to see how to relate to people, how to take better care of ourselves, how to deeply purify ourselves, how to stabilize in asana and pranayama and pratyahara, and move towards dharana, dhyana, and samadhi. So we become ready for the Ashtanga Yoga practice. This whole process of staying with practice is Abhyāsa, just to be with it, which means in your daily practice, when you are, say, doing a simple Tadasana. So today you will be doing a practice. When you do a Tadasana, your Abhyāsa is to be with your body and your breath continuously. And when you pause, you be in that quiet stillness between the inhalation and exhalation, between the exhalation before the next inhalation, just to be there, just to be with your body, just to become that posture. Yeah, and deeply, deeply connect to your body and your prana. That is Abhyāsa. Vairāgya is more important because the mind will run away. It is habitually distracted. Yeah, we are habituated to think 100 things at the same time. We are so preoccupied. Yeah, it will keep running outward. Vairāgya is to recognize that this is not where I need to be. Drop that, come back to your body and breath. So in everyday practice, in every moment, with every breath, there is the practice of Abhyāsa and Vairāgya. And the more and more I learn to strengthen that, then practice flows very well. So mindfulness, to be in this moment, is Abhyāsa. To not get carried away by what does not belong to this moment is Vairāgya. And another very important thing to remember is Vairāgya is very difficult to begin with. Yeah, even to like give up half an hour of sleep, or to eat less, or not to eat when I am not hungry. I know that I am not hungry, but I am tempted to eat this food. Okay, and I can tell myself I have to have Vairāgya and all that, but then the mind that is filled with rajas and tamas will invariably pull me in that direction. Then after I have moved off in that direction, I feel really bad and miserable about it. So Vairagya is difficult. Therefore, the focus is more on Abhyāsa. And as the Abhyāsa becomes stronger and stronger, as what you need to be with, if you remember that and come back to it again and again, the strength of your Abhyāsa, because that's what is cleaning your mind of excess of raga and dvesha, asmita and abhinivesha. It's cleaning the mind of excess of rajas and tamas. Then the tendency for Vairāgya will be stronger. The tendency for the mind to be pulled in different directions will come down. One will naturally develop that inner strength and a certain level of control. It is not a control that you impose on the mind, because if you impose that kind of a control on the mind, which is what a lot of us do in the beginning, then we move to the extremes. We're extremely controlling, like, sometimes dieting. I'll avoid this, I'll avoid that, and then I will go into an extreme state of control, and then I move into the opposite of becoming more and more indulgent. That is not Vairāgya. So Vairāgya is to recognize that indulging in something, engaging in something is actually going to pull me away, to see the fault in that object that I want to engage, to see that fault, to see that it is going to pull me away. And to be able to see that more and more will naturally help you to develop the Vairāgya. So then Vairāgya becomes the fruit of Abhyāsa. So even if I am not able to develop that kind of a mastery over things that I am so deeply conditioned with, so compulsively my mind and my body is feeding on that, my senses are feeding on that, at least to be able to look at that and say, this is not helping me. Okay. Over a period of time, one will develop that Vairāgya, provided the Abhyāsa is true. Okay. For example, if I have to do pranayama every day, 40 breaths. And we were also mentioning pranayama as the best form of tapas. It's called pranayama parantapaha, highest form of cleansing our body and mind at all levels, from the grossest to the subtlest. Now, if I have to do a good pranayama practice, then I have to really take care of my diet. I have to take care of my sleep. I have to take care of my body, right? Otherwise, I cannot sit still and breathe. I will feel a lot of heaviness. I can't inhale properly or exhale. My mind will get very distracted, or I will go to sleep when I'm sitting for pranayama. So I really have to start looking at my food, my activity level, my sleep, many other factors, taking care of my body, moving. So just by doing that Abhyāsa, I have a good understanding of what I need to let go of. And when the body and the subtle aspects of the mind get cleansed, your body will begin to reject what is not good for it. The body will develop the sense of what is pure and impure. And it will help you to follow a good Vairāgya practice, provided the Abhyāsa is true. So it doesn't matter if you are not able to breathe very deeply, or your mind is getting distracted. You just make sure that you sat down to say, I will do 40 breaths, do 40 breaths, however bad they are. Every day you do that 40 breaths of pranayama. That practice will teach you what you need to let go of, and the Vairāgya becomes stronger. So I'm going to stop here, and we're going to get into practice, because we cannot understand Abhyāsa and Vairāgya without actually getting into it. So I'm going to invite Lekha to now start the practice.
Thank you, Saras.
We are always breathing, so it doesn't matter if you're a beginner. You can break down the practice. You can do 20 breaths or 15 breaths and just do some movement, come back another, do some 15, 20 breaths. Yes, Lekha.
Thank you, Suresh. So before we start the practice, I have a request. If many more of you could turn the videos on, it will help me to guide the practice a little more easily because I can see what you're doing and modify accordingly. Shipra is pinned on your screens right now. So at any point, she can be a good reference and she will demonstrate.
I didn't.
All right. Thank you for turning the videos on. It really helps me. So last week, we started exploring the 3 components of Kriya Yoga. And today as well, Saras touched upon it. Tapas, Swadhyaya, and Ishvara Pranidhana. And we'll explore that through the practice today. But we will be looking at the same 3 components, but through the lens of Abhyāsa and Vairāgya. Okay, so Abhyāsa is to stay with our body, with our breath, with the practice. Vairāgya is to let go of anything that may pull us away from our practice. Okay, so we begin by looking at a very gentle Tadasana. So please stand up on your mat. So through this practice of Tadasana, we are looking at the idea of tapas. Tapas as any action that purifies or cleanses us. So let us see how we can bring this attitude of cleansing, of purifying into our practice. Okay, so stand in Samasthiti. Ensure your back is straight. Shoulders, arms, neck is relaxed. Adjust your feet so that the weight is equally distributed. Once you feel comfortable in your body, you feel a sense of stability. Gently draw your attention to your breath. As you observe the breath, notice this gentle pause that exists at the end of inhale and exhale. Take a few breaths with complete awareness. As you inhale, trace the breath from the tip of your nostrils all the way down to your abdomen. And as you exhale, hold this visualization, this intention that you're letting go of all the impurities. We'll begin with the Tadasana. So we'll do 2 versions of the Tadasana. As you inhale, raise the arms from the side raising the head simultaneously. Look at your palms, pause, and as you exhale, lower the arms from the side, bringing your head down. Repeat this 3 more times at your own pace. Feel the stretch of the spine as you inhale.
I didn't.
Remember to pause at the end of inhale and end of exhale. Now we are going to repeat Tadasana. This time we are going to fix our gaze at a point a little ahead of us. As we inhale, we are going to raise the arms, interlock your fingers, turn the palm upwards, simultaneously raising your heels. Pause, and as you exhale, you lower the arms and lower the heels. Shipra will demonstrate. Inhale, interlock your fingers, turn your palm upwards, raising the heels simultaneously. Pause. As you exhale, unlock your fingers, lower the arms, lowering the heels. So we are going to do it 3 more times. As you inhale, draw the breath in. Visualize you are activating the digestive fire. And as you exhale, slowly visualize that you're removing all the impurities from the body. So hold this visualization as you do the Tadasana. Once you're done, sit down on the mat or the chair for a short pranayama practice. If you are seated on the chair, ensure that your feet are firmly planted on the floor. If you feel the need to take the support of a wall or a cushion, please do so. Ensure that you are comfortable. Once you're settled, make sure that your spine is erect. Your shoulders are relaxed. Take a few moments to consciously relax the muscles of your body, especially the muscles at the back of the neck, arms, legs, shoulders. and the muscles of your face. Start paying attention to your breath. As you inhale, bring your attention to the abdomen, visualizing the digestive fire. Pause after inhale. Visualize that you're stoking the digestive fire to burn brighter. As you exhale, visualize letting go of all the impurities, all the toxins. And at the end of exhale, hold your breath for a few seconds. Feel the emptiness, feel the pure space within you. Try and hold to this visualization as you breathe consciously. Now we will be doing Sheetkari Pranayama on inhale. Shipra will demonstrate. Please take a look at her and then we can get started. So we will inhale using Sheetkari. So keep your mouth open slightly as if you are having a wide smile. Keep a small gap between the upper and lower teeth and place the tongue just behind the teeth and inhale through the mouth. So you'll feel the cool air coating the surface of the tongue. So as you inhale using Sheetkari, you raise your head, close your mouth and bring your chin down. And then start exhaling through the nostrils. And then pause for a few seconds at the end of exhale. Shipra will demonstrate it one more time. So we start by keeping the mouth open as if there is a wide smile. There's a small gap between the upper and lower teeth. Place the tongue just behind the teeth. Inhale through the mouth, feeling the coolness of the breath over the surface of the tongue. As you inhale, raise your head, close your mouth, bring the chin down, and then start exhaling through the nostrils. At the end of the exhale, for a few seconds, hold your breath, feeling the quietness within. Every time as you inhale using Sheetkari and you raise your head, straighten your spine, really feeling the lengthening of the chest and the abdomen so that the breath flows all the way down to the navel. And when you start exhaling, exhale from the lower abdomen. Visualize that you're letting go of all the impurities and you're purifying your whole system. Repeat this. As you inhale, visualize you're stoking the digestive fire within you. And as you exhale, you're drawing the impurities towards this fire, burning them completely and releasing them. Continue to do the pranayama, holding this visualization. Three more breaths with complete attention. Once you've completed 3 breaths, drop all regulation. Breathe normally and just sit quietly, observing your breath. Continue to keep your eyes closed. As you sit quietly, recognize what allows you to be with your breath, with your practice, with your body. What anchors you to the practice. And also observe how the mind wanders. And let go of anything that takes the mind away from the practice. We explored the idea of tapas, of purifying, of cleansing, both in the asana and the pranayama practice. We will now explore the second component of Kriya Yoga, which is Svadhyaya. So Svadhyaya is the ability to truly look at ourselves without judgment, without expectations, without being caught up in the past or the future, to look at ourselves as we are today, to meet ourselves with a certain kindness, with a certain compassion, and also with a certain sense of dispassion. To explore Svadhyaya, we are going to do a Kriya, Trataka. We did this a couple of weeks back. To do Trataka, I hope you have brought your candle or your diya or lamp. Please bring the lamp closer to where you are seated for your practice. So you place the lamp in front of you at a certain distance, and if possible, clear the space around the lamp or the candle so that there is nothing distracting in your field of vision. You place the lamp a little lower than your eye level so that your eyes can comfortably rest on the flame of the lamp. Trataka is a practice of training the mind to be with one object of focus continuously, so that the mind can become more and more quiet, more and more pure, and more subtle. Our object of focus is the flame of the candle or the lamp that is in front of you. So once you have placed the candle or lamp, please light it if you have not already done. Just sit in a very relaxed manner, back straight, shoulders relaxed. If you are wearing spectacles and you want to remove them, you can. Just take a minute to relax your body. Bring your awareness to your posture. Bring awareness to your breath. Set an intention that all your senses will be focused onto the flame as you do this practice. Now open your eyes and direct your eyes to the flame of the lamp or the candle. As you look at the flame, you look not just with your eyes, but also with your mind. Let your mind be completely present with your eyes, as your eyes are directed towards the flame. Let your breath flow naturally. You're not regulating the breath in any way. All that you're doing is directing your eyes and your mind to the flame. Try and maintain a very soft gaze. Try not to blink as you look at the flame. If you're able to look at the flame without blinking, it is possible that your eyes may start watering, and that's okay. If your eyes are watering, just close your eyes for a moment, wipe the tears, and again open the eyes and look at the flame. Abhyāsa is to stay with the practice, and Vairāgya is to let go of anything that may distract us, that may take us away from the practice. Continue to direct your gaze and your mind to the flame. Please close your eyes and let your eyes completely relax. With your eyes closed, you may be able to see a mental image of the flame. Wait till this mental image of the flame completely fades away. Cup your eyes with your palms. Continue to keep your eyes closed. Gently open your eyes within your cupped palms, and then you can bring your hands down, place them on your lap. Sit quietly for a few moments. So Trataka was about directing all our senses in one direction. The next practice that we are going to do is to turn the senses inward. Swadhyaya, remember, is to understand ourselves, to understand our true nature. So we are going to do a short practice of Pratyahara. We will use the Shanmukhi Mudra. Shipra will, 1 second. I'm sorry. Shipra will demonstrate. So sit in a very relaxed manner. Again, with your spine straight, shoulders relaxed. If you are wearing specs, please remove them. Okay. So Shipra will demonstrate the Shanmukhi Mudra and then we can start. So we open up your hand. Place the thumb against the ears so that you can close your ears. Now place the index finger above your eyelid and use the middle finger to gently close your eyelids. So you're shutting off the sense of vision. The ring finger is placed against the nostril and the little finger is placed against the sides of your mouth, keeping your mouth closed. So as you keep your little finger against the mouth, you're paying attention to your speech and to your tongue. Keep your elbows open and relaxed. And bring your focus to your heart space. You breathe naturally. So as you do this, I will repeat the instructions. Place the thumb against the ears so that you can close your ears. Place the index finger above your eyelid. Middle finger is gently closing your eyelids. Ring finger against the nostril. The little finger placed against the sides of your mouth. Mouth is closed. Your elbows are relaxed. Shoulder is relaxed. And you're breathing naturally. Ensure that your fingers and fingertips are relaxed and you're not pressing or forcing. You're just placing the fingertips very gently. Once you're settled, breathe naturally and direct your gaze, your attention inward into your heart space. Watch yourself in a very gentle, compassionate, dispassionate manner. If you feel any discomfort around your shoulders or neck, you can gently bring your hands down to your lap, but continue to direct your senses inward. As you look at yourself, drop all judgments, all expectations. And you're just looking at your thoughts, your feelings. You're gently observing the sensations in your body. Look at everything that is arising in you. Those of you who are still holding the mudra, please bring your hands down. Continue to keep the focus in the heart. Relax your shoulders, relax your neck. Continue to sit with your spine erect, shoulders relaxed, keeping your eyes closed. Now we will explore the quality of Ishvara Pranidhana. We'll do this by meditating on the Pranava mantra, Om. So you chant Om on exhale. And as you chant Om on exhale, reflect on the qualities of Ishvara, this divine intelligence that is beyond time and space, this divine intelligence that is untouched by any impurities or afflictions. Qualities that we want to acquire so that we may journey towards our true nature. So bring your awareness to your heart. Breathe in, pause for a few seconds, and as you exhale, chant Om loudly. And at the end of exhale, pause for a little while to experience the empty space of Ishvara. Shipra will demonstrate for us. You can continue to keep your eyes closed and you can do the practice along with her. Now chant Om softly, continuing to focus on the heart. And as you do the practice, slowly see yourself moving deeper and deeper into the space of Ishvara and completely submitting to this higher intelligence. The next few breaths, chant Om mentally, continuing to focus on the heart. As you inhale, deepen your awareness of the present moment. And as you exhale, hold the intention of purifying your system. At the end of your exhalation, hold your breath for a few seconds, completely with the attitude of surrendering to this divine intelligence. Now drop the visualization and just sit in complete silence, focused on your heart which is the seat of the Ishvara. When you feel ready, you can gently open your eyes. I would like you to reflect on what helped you maintain the quality of your attention through your practice today. And every time the mind wandered, were you able to drop whatever was interrupting you and what helped you to come back to your practice? So just reflect on that. And if you would like to share, we'll open the space out for questions and for reflections.
If you have questions or reflections you would like to share with us and everybody else who's here with us today, we would love to hear from you.